Guys, we're here at the lecture by Vittorio Pacatini, and soon we'll learn a little more about the Varginha case. I just got here. I'm in São Paulo in the Fazenda da Huta area. We came here, Margaret and I. And come with me, nah? Because you're going to find out some interesting things. Some people from National Ufology have already arrived here. Marco Antonio Petit, Claudio Iatauro, they're also here with us. And soon we're going to have a lecture by Vittorio Pacatini about his book Incident. Varginha is launching the book, and we'll also talk about the Varginha movie, which everyone is looking forward to. I wanted to ask Petit, since he also researched the Varginha case, right? And you had the opportunity to be with Vittorio Pacatini recording one of the military officers at that time, right? We were in a meeting on May 4th, 1996, and then they quietly left and went to interview one of the army soldiers there. So was it something really interesting that left such an impression on you? Petty wrote a book. Tell me about it. Regarding the Varginha case, which happened almost 30 years ago, what are your current thoughts about it?
It's a pleasure, Revis, to talk with you and with those who are joining us right now. And it's truly a historic moment we're living in as we approach the 30-year mark, right? And today, in the car coming here with my wife and Claudio Iatauro, we were even talking about this topic, right? Back in '96, we were together. We certainly couldn't have imagined that 30 years later, we'd be on the verge of practically exploding the cover-up of the Varginha case through a series of actions that all of us are involved in, right? So that opportunity you mentioned on the afternoon of May 4th, when Pacaccini and I left in that way that nobody understood what was about to happen, and most people didn't see us leave, right? That was crucial. Why? Because we actually managed to record for the first time on video, back then in super video. People came here, and people even, right? And people actually came, and I wanted to take advantage of this. People even here, right? We actually came all the way here, right? And we even made it here, right? And people even here, a place that attempted bribe days before. And when Pacatino entered the room, already as the Silva family, he only had time to ask me, "What do I do?" And then I told him what had been agreed upon. List the known military personnel involved in the case by name. That was a historic moment, the decision to release the names of the military personnel. It was only actually carried out after this recording, made just minutes before. Because
wouldn't it have been announced by Vittorio Pacatini if it hadn't been recorded?
Probably not. Why? Because if it came down on us, we would have to show the reality behind those names, like now. From the moment we had that Super V tape, I was going to say video home system, but it was the Super V back then. The names were given by the military themselves. We could prove that if someone was making something up, it wasn't us. It was army personnel, and we trusted they spoke the truth. That's not it.
So, after 30 years, is your perception of the Varginha case that something really happened related to the unidentified flying object phenomenon, or could there be another explanation?
Look, with each year that went by, later, this certainty about the ufological aspect of the case only became more and more confirmed. Despite everything that, unfortunately, I would even call madness, that said today we really have that conviction. I later met other military personnel. Over these almost 30 years, they didn't allow themselves to be recorded, but they trusted our presence to say a little more. And all of them really confirmed what we concluded from those very first moments. What could that be? Did we really have a crashed spacecraft in the middle of a major unidentified flying object wave with hundreds of sightings in the south of Minas? I had the chance to meet the military officer in person and from the Brazilian Air Force, who gave me a document from his air traffic control area, which was precisely about this abnormal incidence of UFOs. And that certainty, really, that those beings actually came from a rugged area. In a way, they spread throughout the south of Minas region, and at least some of them were actually captured by military forces, which definitely involved the local fire department, the military police, and the army, which in fact always controlled all of this. Several of us, like you, Edison Boaventura, continue to publicly denounce this cover-up. And it's actually just a matter of time, because I'm sure that more and more military personnel even. I'm currently talking to two of them who were involved at that time with the events, who never managed to say anything. Even after 30 years, they're still afraid. But sooner or later, we'll be faced with such a strong revelation that it will definitively blow up this cover-up process. People deserve to know the truth about what happened in southern Minas in 1996.
I believe in that. Soon we should have some explosive news about the case. Varginha. Thank you, Petty. I'm the one who should thank you. I wanted to talk to Claudio for a bit now. Claudio. We were talking backstage here about the documentary aspect of Varginha, because over the years there have been many attempts to obtain documents about those events. So, for example, the order of the day, a report that might have remained, the transfer of the creatures, which would also require a service order. And tell us a little bit about how the result turned out. When these documents arrived or didn't arrive, how did they come?
Through the Brazilian Commission of Ufologists. The Brazilian Commission of Ufologists, we tried to get everyone to request these documents. We sent several requests, as you have done many times too. We sent several requests, but they were all denied. And the ones that came with that black bar, the famous black bar, which would be exactly those daily orders where we already know the names of some officers. But we wanted the proof.
You know the names of those involved?
Of those involved, and we wanted the proof through these documents that are public. But through the information law, they all came redacted, and we were left without any knowledge. So we know that they know what we're asking for. They know that we want these daily orders, that this will really prove what we've been saying for a long time. You've also been spreading this for a long time, and that everything written in these reports is the truth. About the Varginha case, about the people who are involved, who participated, and who have substantial involvement in this case. Even the case of the famous creature that they handled.
So you see that the Varginha case is synonymous with a cover-up. We can see it by how hard it is to get documents about this case. We're going to keep walking here, talking to other people, and keep supporting us there. Thank you, Claudio Edson.
Thanks.
I met Alex here from Unidentified Flying Object Enthusiast, a channel he has on YouTube that also deals with these ufology topics. He was telling me that he visited Varginha in 2023 and ended up filming something strange. Tell us what you filmed that day. It was in broad daylight.
That's right, Edson. It was in 2023. I was at the Varginha Museum. When I got there, I saw two objects in the sky, but at first I thought they were just plastic bags. I didn't really notice it and just joked with everyone there. I raised my phone and filmed these objects. Two objects, one white and one yellow, amber colored. I filmed one of these objects. The white one, it was spinning on its own axis, and the yellow one stayed still. At first I thought they were just trash bags, grocery bags. I joked that it was a flying saucer while flying. It was just a joke. That's why the video has it. 22 seconds, but when I went to edit the video, I realized they weren't trash bags, but unidentified objects. Watch the video. Edison Boaventura will upload and play it in slow motion for you to see. One of them spins on its own axis, and one is stationary, and one
has an amber color. It's unique.
Very different. It's stationary. It was a windy day. It spins on its axis but stays in place, unlike the other one which moves. Although, when I left the museum about 4 hours after I left, since I spent a lot of time there, it was a little farther away. It wasn't above the museum, it was much farther away.
But it hadn't disappeared. Yet, it was still there in the sky. It was
Still up in the sky, but still, I thought it was just a kid's prank or something. I didn't take it that seriously.
It's interesting that we're seeing these images again. It's really interesting. We're also going to take a look and see what these objects are about. But we know that in Varginha, sightings happen from time to time. And you were lucky. It's just a shame you didn't think to film for a longer time.
Right? Exactly. That's why we need to watch for these sightings. We're unprepared during the day, and that's the difference. Besides that, I went to film the museum, which is another video as well that can be analyzed later. I went to film around the museum. You can't see it with the naked eye, but in the editing, you can see it. The spheres, there are some spheres there in the sky, practically in the blue. Anil, do you see some spheres? I couldn't find an explanation either. Plausible about these spheres. It's very strange, but that's common today. I didn't understand the explanation. Edison Boaventura will now analyze these videos.
That's it. So Varginha has a lot of mystery, right? We're going to keep walking here. Let's try to talk to Vitório Pacatini now, so he can talk a little about the release of the book, right? That's happening here in São Paulo. Vitório Pacatini's lecture at the Culture Factory was a success. Many people there received first-hand information, and at a certain point during his lecture, we were also called up to the stage to talk a little about our own experiences, right? It was, of course, a brief speech. And right after that, we also heard from Marco Antonio Petit, who is another researcher that contributed a lot. In this case of Varginha. End of Vitório Pacatini's lecture presentation, right? We had 4 songs. 3 of them are themes from the movie that will be made about Varginha. And the group that performed was Valete, right? Some really impressive songs there. There were even people next to us who were crying, right? Because they really brought the content of the Varginha case. And in the end, we even got a little performance, right? We got an interview with Vitório Pacatini, which I'm going to show you. And I already have my book here, Incident in Varginha, which was even autographed by Vitório Pacatini, one of the main researchers of the Varginha case. So let's watch now, to wrap up this video, a short interview with Vitório Pacatini. Look, we're here with Vitório Pacatini. He just finished. Let's say the lecture, the presentation by the Valet group was sensational. I wanted you to give a summary of this event here. Say something about Varginha. What are the next steps?
My dear friends, it's a pleasure and satisfaction to be here with you. Edison Boaventura, my brother and partner. A unique event where we were able to give a comprehensive lecture about the Varginha incident, followed by the soundtrack from the band Valet. For us, it's a historic milestone, and I hope we can meet at similar events very soon, especially now in Peruíbe, when we will be there with our great friend and partner, Saga Sousa. And the next steps now are for us to continue with the research, to keep trying to uncover documents and videos. There in Brasilia, through our partner Ramalho, and we are very close to achieving this. Also, to continue the celebrations of the 30th anniversary of the Varginha research there in the city of Varginha, and next to take care of our film production, which I guarantee will be the best science fiction movie based on real events ever produced in Brazil. A special moment. I'm very happy.
That's it, folks. So we'll stop here until the next video podcast live with Edison Boaventura. And I've already got my book here, Incident in Varginha, Volume 2, Revised Edition. It's really cool, so get yours too.
Thank you very much, dear Boaventura, and to all the dear ones who were with us here tonight and who will watch us on the internet. We will be together. I am proud to be part of the greatest ufology in the world, which is Brazilian ufology, together with all our partners. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.